Hello, welcome to Heavy No More. I'm your host, Jaffe, and today we got this motherfucker Ivan bodybuilding once again, rumbling, running his mouth, lying like he knows everything. Um, First, I want to start off. Nick does not have a coach, and Nick will be in Olympia. He will compete at the Olympia. He's just not sure which show he's gonna do to qualify, but he will be on there for sure. But let's start this video real
Ivan
quick.
here, and in today's video we got a couple of really interesting bodybuilding updates. The first one is about Nick Walker, and we kind of got an update on Nick Walker and what his plans are. So that was sort of a mystery up until this point. I mean, it still is, but Guy Citernino, Nick's coach, his current coach, kind of gave us this information that Nick might be taking a year off. And personally, I never saw it that way. I always thought, I was firmly convinced that he was going to compete this year. But now, after hearing Nick, I don't know about that. Now, also, Nick did post a couple of really freaking crazy physique updates. Before we hear what Nick has to say, let's take a look at his physique right now. So, these photos right here, guys, are nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. And here the caption is also, rebound phase is always my favorite phase. Of course, I mean, it's everybody's favorite phase, probably, other than maybe competing on a stage. This is fun. Like, you're growing, you're eating more compared to the prep.
Like I said, I already posted this yesterday. As you can see, he's looking great. You can tell it's just a strategy. He doesn't want to let his plans out just yet, which is smart. I understand people just want to know right away, but if you can read between the lines, you can tell Nick is going to compete. He's just going to do it when he's ready, and or going to let it be known when he's ready, and he definitely going to be in the Olympia. He wouldn't stay in this much of a condition at this point in time if he wasn't going to. So there you go.
And you're progressing, you're still shredded, but you're full, you're huge. It is fun for sure. And Nick right now in his rebound looks absolutely insane. Look at the amount of muscle he's packing here, man. This is nuts. And also, he's very lean, very lean. Still, he doesn't look like he gained almost any body fat. I mean, he probably did gain some, but not a lot. He could probably be ready in a couple of weeks to compete again. So, considering all this, let me show you what he says about his current or his future plans.
Depending on what my next plan is, kind of hold that until I want to get into a prep, or if I plan to take the rest of the year off, which I don't know. Last week and this week was times where I'm now just starting to really feel good again. I would have to jump into another prep to do another prep for the Olympia. Back in my head is, there's two parts: the competitive nature that's like, yeah, do it. And then there's another side of me that's like, I think you need to pump the brake, because that's not the healthiest thing. To go into another prep, I'd have to go into another prep probably next month.
Look, I mean, I get it. I get what he's trying to say. Milos Sarcev, however, would not get this. He would not agree with Nick. He competed at every show throughout the entire year. Every year he competed basically for like 10 years. He never skipped one show. So that's what a true professional in the sport should probably be like. But these guys today, I mean, they're blasting gear like maniacs. They're probably taking way too much. And that's...
As you can see, he's just running his mouth again with more bullshit. Nick already responded to that. He don't give a shit about what these other guys are doing or what these old heads did, which he shouldn't. He makes more money than them. He's more famous than they ever will be. He accomplished way more than they ever could. And a professional, well, he's a professional bodybuilder, so that automatically makes him a professional. This guy's opinion is just ass. This is a drug dealer who promotes and supplies steroids. So I mean, it's just funny how he believes he likes to say it's his opinion, but at the same time being disrespectful, and then comes across like he believes his opinion is law.
Not sustainable. You can't do that year around. So for Nick, maybe it is dangerous and not healthy to prep again. And he says he's just now finally starting to feel like he's recovered, which is obvious. I mean, after a prep, it usually takes you a couple of weeks or like a month or even more to get back to your normal state, if you're reverse dieting especially. So now that he's finally feeling almost normal, he would have to jump into another prep in a month. But is that really the case? Well, I found these photos right here of the NPC, or actually IFBB Pro League schedule. And the last show we got this year, that is a qualification for the Mr. Olympia, is the Europa Pro, the show that Urs Kolecinski did last year. It is in Germany, and Nick never traveled outside of the US, so that could be maybe not an issue. He could get a passport and travel to the Europe, but he could do that show. It's the last show, September 13, and he would have like 23 weeks to that show. Now, if you look at his physique right here, does he look like he needs 23 weeks to get shredded? No, that's the answer. He does not. He needs maybe like 3 weeks, really. But after this show, there is Mr. Olympia, only 2 weeks later. So he couldn't prep for like 8 weeks for Mr. Olympia. If that is his only option, and the other one is to not compete at all this year at the Mr. Olympia, then I would take this option, man. Again, he has 22 weeks. So let's say he takes not just 4 weeks, as he says, but takes like, let's say 3 months, which is plenty of time to recover. So he starts his prep at 12 weeks out of Germany, not out of Mr. Olympia, of Germany, of Europa Pro. That's 14 weeks to the Mr. Olympia. And he maintains this body fat percent and this hardness and muscularity, which is probably very possible if he doesn't push the food. But the question is now, will he push the food and get into the off season and get fat and sloppy? Well, Nick doesn't do that, but he did make this reel. He did post this reel in which he kind of talks about that. Let me play this for you.
But whatever ever happened to people taking a year off and coming back with like a totally different look? You know what I mean? I guess as a pro, you compete a little more often. But like back in my younger days, I would like kill myself for one show and then be like, taking a year off, come back next year, dramatically different. Whatever happened to like getting qualified and then be like, all right, let my body rest till Olympia now, you know, or whatever show you know. But now it's like, let's do 8 shows, and then by the time you get to the big one, you're like, and you look like dog shit.
All right, so in
I
this
agree.
video, he's kind of talking about doing an off season, why nobody's doing an off season anymore. Bro, you don't need to do an off season. What the hell would you try to improve at this point? All you need to do is control the midsection. Just do an off season for vacuums only. That's what you need. Not to put on more size. There is no more room left for any new size to be added. What's the point? Why would he need an off season? He doesn't need that.
To give him the credit he deserved, I do agree there. I agree that Nick needs to really work on his vacuum and work on his stomach, because he needs to understand that that's the real thing holding him back. And not just the real thing holding him back, because I believe he won the Arnold. I believe that's the biggest thing they latch on to make an excuse for not letting him win. And I think at this point, he needs to realize that he's going to have to eliminate all the excuses. And that's the only excuse they can latch on and use to strip him and rob him of most of these wins. He beat Derek, and he beat Samson. He beat Andrew Jack. So I believe he needs to work on that and eliminate from these haters and this politics against him, so he can have an opportunity to really win. But I believe Nick has a plan, and he's smarter, and he's going to be better. And I think it's going to work. And I'm seeing the progress after the disappointment last time when he went in Olympia. I really thought he was going to come out big on that, but you know, things don't work out sometimes and you have failures, but you got to come stronger. And he did that. I think he came stronger and got robbed. And I think he's smarter, wiser, and I think he's gonna shock a lot of people, and that's why he's trying to keep a lot of the things he's doing close to the vest, which I believe is smart and strategic, and I believe is gonna work in the long run. And he's gonna make these haters like this clown and Muscle Discord look like fools as they always do. And yeah.
So if I was him, what I would do is I would go off, not off for Nick Walker, whatever it is, off. Let's see, a gram of gear, under a gram, 900 mgs. That's probably natural for Nick. So stay at that amount of gear for the next 3 months. Maybe not 900 mgs, I'm joking, but like 500 mgs of test would probably sustain him with some GH and some peptides. He would probably stay relatively almost as big as he is right now. Maybe he would lose some fullness, but he would stay there. And I don't know if he even plans on going off. Really, what he wants is not to prep, not to compete. So if he stays on a lot of gear and just tries to maintain his look, doesn't prep for the next 3 months, and then gets into a faster prep that is 12 weeks long up until Europa Pro, he can definitely do that, man. Win that show easy, qualify for the Mr. Olympia, has 2 more weeks to sharpen up, tighten up, harden up for the Mr. Olympia, and go over there and compete. I mean, what is the point of taking a full year off? I don't get it. His goal is to win the Mr. Olympia. Maybe if his goal shifted, and now all he wants is to win the Arnold Classic, because there is more money there, but I don't think that's it, because I'm pretty sure he's aware that he can't win the Arnold Classic. They don't want freaks like Nick to win the Arnold Classic. They want guys who are prettier, like Andrew, like Samson, the other guys. So he has a chance of maybe even winning the Mr. Olympia, and he's not going to win if he doesn't compete. So if I was him, I would definitely prep for that show, because again, he looks crazy right now, guys. This conditioning and this hardness is not going away anytime soon. And he doesn't need to diet for 22 weeks. No. Just maintain this for the next couple of months and then get into a faster, maybe a little bit more aggressive prep. But he wouldn't need to go hard, really. He can maintain this sort of a look similar to this and get shredded really, really quickly and peak his body fully. So maybe he doesn't want to do it that way. Maybe he actually wants to have a long prep, but really, in this situation, this year, it's not needed. That's what I would do, guys. You tell me down below whatever you think, but one thing is for sure, man. Nick is looking like a freaking monster right now. This is crazy, and this has to be, guys, I repeat, this absolutely has to be on the Mr. Olympia stage. We gotta see this among the best bodybuilders in the world this year. Come on, Nick, you gotta do it. Come on. All right, then.
And he will. And he will. His own way, as he should. And Nick is looking great. And like I said, he has a plan and it's working and it's gonna work. But you also heard him say he admitted himself to politics. Even the Arnold, they're not gonna let him win. So you can't take shit like that serious. Before the Arnold, I said nobody's gonna show up. Samson Dowd, they were criticizing Nick because they wanted Nick to show up so they can say at least Samson Dowd, not Samson Dowd, excuse me, Andrew Jack beat somebody. And I told you, was it gonna happen? You ain't talking about that bum no more. They trying to hype him up. Now he's not beating Derek, he's not beating Samson Dowd, he's not even beating Nick. As you can see, they're trying to hype him up, but it's not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. Then they're trying to hype him up by saying Derek is scared, he's a little worried. It's all hype. Derek is another one, even though I don't like some of the things he promoting and putting them young kids in his videos that take steroids. He is who he is, and I'm sure he's working hard himself behind the scenes. These guys are smart. These new bodybuilders know what they're doing. And they smart with the money. They're not like these old bodybuilders broke and with a broken body or dead. So, listen, like, share, subscribe, show me some love if you do. If you don't, then it is what it is. Be a sucker your whole life. But you know my motto. If you don't like me, I don't like you. If it's fuck me, then fuck you. Bury your fucking dead. This is Heavy No More, and I'm your host, Jaffe. Let's get it.